first day, second regular session of the Rota Delegation to order. At this time, can I ask members to please rise for a moment of silence? All right, and with that, I recognize the delegation clerk to take roll.
Chairman Manglonia Donald,
Present.
Senator Manglonia Paul, Senator Mendiola,
Here.
Representative Fogo.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, all four members are present.
Thank you, Joan. With all four members present, we have the necessary quorum to proceed with today's session. Before I open the floor to the public for comments, I would like to recognize the staff assisting the delegation. We have our counsel, Antoinette Villagomez, our delegation clerk, Joan Kaipat, our IT, Del Camacho, our Sergeant at Arms, Brendan Manglonia, our LA, Devin Macaranas, and our newly assigned staff journal clerk, Baby D Hoku. And with that, I now open the floor for public comments. All right, looks like we have none. And so we now move on. I'd like to recognize the floor leader for the proper motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I'd like to offer a motion to suspend permanent delegation rules to accept unnumbered communication. So move.
All right, a motion was made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We now move on to adoption of journal, and I recognize the floor leader.
This is the communications. Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I'd like to offer a motion to adopt Rota Legislative Delegation Journal number 2304. So move.
All right, a motion was made and seconded. Discussion on the motion. Ready? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Adoption. Rota Legislative Delegation Journal number 2304 is hereby adopted. We now move on to item D, introduction of local resolutions. There's none. Messages from the governor, none. Messages from the mayor. I recognize the delegation clerk.
Mr. Chairman, we have one. Mayor's Communication 23-9.
Thank you, clerk. Discussion on the communication? All right. If none. Messages from Rota Municipal Council, we have none. Reports of communications from heads of department and agencies, we have none. And for House Communications, I recognize the clerk.
Mr. Chairman, we have three House Communication numbers 2316, 2317, and 2318.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussion on the communications? If not, I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At this time, I offer a motion to move House Communication number 23-16 to calendar for action. So move.
All right, can I get a second? All right, discussion on the motion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also like to offer a motion to move House Communication 2318 to calendar for action. So move.
All right, a motion was made and seconded. Discussion on the motion. None. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We now move on to Senate Communications, and I recognize the clerk.
Mr. Chairman, we have 8 Senate Communication numbers 2310 through 17.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussion on Senate Communications? If none, I'd like to recognize the floor leader at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also like to move to offer a motion to move Senate Communication 23-12 to calendar for action. So move.
All right, there was a motion made and seconded. All discussion on the motion? None. All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. We now move on to delegation matters, and I recognize the clerk.
Mr. Chairman, we have 9 delegation matters number 2319 through 2327.
Thank you, clerk. Discussion on delegation matters. If none, we now move on to miscellaneous communications, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we have 6 miscellaneous communication numbers 2305 through 2310.
Thank you, clerk. Members, discussion on the motion. I recognize Senator Dennis.
I think, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to, for the record, I'd just like to state that I think Chairman of BUTC, Senator Paul, has addressed the rising costs or the proposed increased costs for CPA taxes. I saw these email personally, and I just want to put that on for the record now. This was addressed by Senator Paul. And I like to offer a recommendation that maybe we can write as a delegation to CPA also, stressing the support of our vendors in Rota. Thank you. That's it. I yield for now.
Thank you, Senator Mendiola. Just to add on to that, I think hopefully with the confirmation of the 3 new CPA board members in tomorrow's Senate session, that would give the CPA the quorum it needs to proceed with their order of business and to address. And these are some of the issues that were brought up during the confirmation hearing, is to address the rate increases and to reassess and see how we can reduce the rates. And so I hope that with the confirmation of the 3 new members that they can expeditiously address the rate increases, especially the landing fee increases, and to kind of see if that can be offset by some changes to maybe wharfage fees to support that. And so thank you, Senator Mendiola, for bringing that up. Any other discussion on the communications? Recognize Senator Paul.
Yeah, there seems to be some communications here that might need our vote for medical referral.
Yeah. Before we proceed with accepting those, I was going to see if members had any concerns with any other communication.
That's all.
Thank you. I recognize Rep. Julie Ogle.
Regarding miscellaneous communication 23-02 from the chairperson of the Rota Municipal Scholarship. We received a letter from that agency requesting for to review.
Sorry, Rep. Julie, you mean 2309?
I'm sorry. Yes, 23-09.
Thank you.
It's not correct. So the request from the resident director of finance requesting for to fund 2 personnel for training, I believe in Florida, if that's a correct information. But due to the limited and the shortage of the time being shared and the request for this funding, it didn't give us enough time to review to fund for that trip. So this time, I would like to point out that maybe in the future, any agency requesting for this kind of funding, that they let us aware ahead of time and not just a week or 2 weeks before the trip. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Ogle. And just to add on to your statement on miscellaneous communication 23-09, again, just to clarify, this is a concurrence from the delegation for a training opportunity requested by Department of Finance, which could be funded by the Rota Municipal Scholarship Foundation. Also note that I guess past directors never or haven't provided the delegation with this kind of request, so this is something new for all of us. One thing I did relate to the chairwoman is that maybe establish an SOP, especially for training and travel purposes, because right now, current rules and regs only, for the most part, addresses awards to students and what how awards are to be made and recouped, and so if they can also establish an SOP for the training side of foundation, that's something that we can move forward. And because again, this is something new, it's the first time we've received this kind of request. It does need delegation approval, and so we, moving forward, we shall approve this in the form of a, when we accept the communication and to establish the funding levels, but also that, and I hope if the chairwoman sees this, is that accompanying the request would be helpful to include the fund balance of the scholarship foundation, as well as what is the budget plans for the remaining funds in the account. And I think that is also required under the law to provide an annual report to the delegation so that we can keep track of how much money is in there, and how much can be spent on training. And so yeah, that's all I wanted to share on that. Any discussion from the members? I recognize Senator Paul.
Chairman, we have three communications here that Senator Dennis discussed earlier about the airline. But just for the record, just want to say that one letter came from Jackie Manglonia, who I guess operates Lucky Store and Lucky 2 Mart. And then another one from David Calvu Enterprises, operating several grocery stores and gas station on Rota. And also from the Chamber of Commerce, Rota Chamber of Commerce, all regarding the CPA's increase in airport fees. And just want to mention that for the record. And I think Senator Dennis' recommendation is a good recommendation, even if it's not a Senate resolution. But I think we should have a letter signed off by the members, basically saying the same thing to CPA. So if there's no objection, I'd like to recommend that our LA and our legal counsel maybe look at these three letters, and uh, maybe we can send off a letter tomorrow or the next day, um, so that when CPA gets to their next board meeting, we can then appear at the board meeting and ask them to seriously consider this request from our business people and our traveling public. No, just want to recommend that. Thank you.
Thank you for the recommendation, Senator Paul. So I think after we adjourn from this session, maybe we can share our sentiments to the council and LA to assist in the drafting of a response. Short recess. several communications we have to accept or reject, and at this time, we have miscellaneous communication 23-05. By accepting or rejecting, this would include Mr. Maritita on the medical subsistence list. Any discussion on that? Can I get a motion for accepting or rejecting this communication? I recognize Senator Mendiola.
Thank you, Chair. At this time, I offer a motion to accept Mr. Bonabe Martita as part of a recipient for medical subsistence. So move.
All right, discussion on that motion, members? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We now move on to, let's take care of miscellaneous communication 23-09. This is a request for funding, just so that we get it on record. Can I get a motion for to accept or reject communication 2309? Recognize Senator Mendiola.
So move. This time, I offer a motion to accept or reject miscellaneous communication 2309.
All right, a motion was made and seconded. All in favor, or discussion on the motion? Ready? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Miscellaneous 2309 is hereby rejected. We now move on to miscellaneous communication 2310. Can I get a motion for the acceptance or rejection of 2309? Or 2310.
So move, Mr. Chair. This time, I'd like to offer a motion to accept or reject the 2310. Or to accept. I'm sorry. I stand corrected. This time, I offer a motion to accept 2310. So move.
All right. All right. Motion was made and seconded. Discussion on that motion. If there's none, all in favor say aye. All opposed say all in favor say aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries. This includes Mr. Udin in our list. So, members, as we close off miscellaneous communications and with the adoption of 2 additional members, just to give you an idea of what the total is, it'll be roughly $19,250 for $100 medical allowance for 1 month. At $100, $19,350. So moving forward, if we have enough money in poker fees, or if members would like to lobby with our good representative to include any additional funding for allowance, and if that could be addressed in future legislation once our poker account replenishes. But yes, $19,350 is what's needed at $100 rate. We now move on to item M, reports of committee. There's none. And unfinished business. There's none. Item O, resolution calendar. There's none. We now move on to the bill calendar, and we have 3 items, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to offer a motion to move to adopt House Communication 23 I move for passage. House Communication 2316. So move.
For the record, this is House Local Bill number 23-19 to repeal Local Law 13-3, which imposed a complete ban on the exportation of raw bazogo from the island of Rota. All right, there was a motion for the passage and it was seconded. Discussion on that motion. Recognize Rep. Juliogo.
Thank you, Chairman. So the intent of this bill, it's been more than 10 to 15 years since it was banned, exportation of this raw product from Rota. And I believe that by lifting this ban, it will open up more opportunity for our people, especially those artists or handicrafters in Rota, to export their products off island, their arts to other, places in the world. I've recognized or noticed that there are some products, crafts made out of bazogo that are being sold online, and I think we're missing out, this opportunity to expand our marketing as for the bazogo. It is also could be an opportunity for the farmers to grow more of this seeds, so we can export it out. Um, from the last information I received before the ban of this product or this seedlings, they were making like for a 5 gallon. There were some are selling it for $500 for a 5 gallon bottled water to some handicrafts vendors in Saipan, and I believe that we can go back and start this and open up more market for our people in Rota, and to generate revenue and profit. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Rep. Bogo. Any other members? Recognize Senator Paul.
Congresswoman, if she's aware, are they still making those bazogo dolls on Saipan, selling them? I'm just curious. I'm not aware.
Actually, I've observed some, not too many, but then a lot of them are being sold or being produced by like Chinese or
Unimported.
Yeah. So because of the ban from exporting the bazogo from Rota, they went, international and are shipping in from Malaysia, Philippines, but it's not the raw product. So it's been processed already. But with that said, it'll be cheaper and for our people to make more money to ship out of Rota. So that's the intent of
So
the
maybe
bill.
we can add that to the pugwa. Or I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Paul. Any other members? Just a technical amendment on your signature page. No, Miss Rep. July Ogo. All right. If there's no one else, I recognize the clerk to take roll.
Senator Manglonia Poe. Senator Mendiola.
Yes.
Representative Ogo.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, all four members voted yes.
Thank you, clerk. With all four members voting yes, House Local Bill 23-19 is hereby passes as delegation. I now recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion to recommend for passage House Local Bill number 2328 to reappropriate 21,448 allotted under Local Law 2204 and 40,000 allotted under Local Law 2209. So move.
There was a motion made to adopt House Local Bill 2328 and has been seconded. Discussion on the motion. Recognize Rep. Juliogo.
Thank you, Chairman Molonia. So there is an appropriation made through Rota Local Law 22-04 for 40,000 for the municipality of Rota. Out of this 40,000, we'll be obligating $12,553 to pay the remaining employees from the previous administration that were not funded. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep. Bogo. And so yes, thank you. That is the intent. While 40,000 is given to the mayor just in general for personnel and operations, the intent is that of this 12,000, a little over 12,000 shall be reserved for the unfunded personnel from the previous administration. Further discussion, members? If there's none, I recognize the clerk for the passage of House Local Bill 23-28.
Representative Manglonia Poe? Sorry, Senator Manglonia Poe. Senator Mendiola?
Yes.
Representative Fogo?
Yes.
Chairman Manglonia Donald?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, all four members voted yes.
Thank you, clerk. With all four members voting yes, House Local Bill 23-28 hereby passes. Recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to offer a motion for passage, Senate Local Bill 2302 to amend and prohibit, to amend the prohibition of certain activities within Sabana Heights, Talakaza, and Simpson Park to establish under local law 19-01. So move.
Correction 9-01. There was a motion made and seconded. Discussion on the motion. Ready, Senator Paul? This is your bill.
Yeah, I believe the legal counsel has reviewed this because this is the bill that was introduced the last legislature by Commissioner Santos, and it was vetoed, and I reintroduced it because we've been waiting to begin the Mayor's project, Nature 360 Trail and Overlook, as well as the shooting range and the emergency repeater up in Sabana. So I hope that I understand that the legal counsel has reviewed this, and hopefully the technical concerns would have been addressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Paul. And for the viewing public, 23-02, Senate Local Bill 23-02 amends certain activities that would be that we would allow in the Sabana area. And the amendment is to include allowing DFEMS to install an emergency repeater system, to allow for DPS shooting range. The Freedom is Nature 360 Trail and Overlook Coffee Project and other organic farming. But before any of these activities are approved, the Secretary of DLNR and the Rota resident director of DLNR shall develop the regulations on how to proceed with the development in this area. Any other discussion from the members? If there's none, I recognize the clerk.
Senator Manglonia Poe? Senator Mendiola?
Yes.
Representative Fogo?
Yes.
Chairman Manglonia Donald?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, all four members voted yes.
Thank you, clerk. With all four members voting yes, Senate Local Bill 23-02 hereby passes. All right, thank you, members. We now move on to the next item on the agenda, miscellaneous business. Any members? If there's none, announcements. If there's none, we now move on to item S, adjournment, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Chair. I move for adjournment.
All right, there was a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. This session is hereby adjourned to 2:22 p.m.